What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for MLB Friday, June 30th. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's MLB slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, we have a 12-game MLB slate tonight, so let's take a look at the pitcher position. So I like Jon Gray. He's got a nice pitching advantage here over a low salary batting team, the Houston Astros. Jon Gray, he's only giving up a .520 OPS versus righties, facing 8 righties here tonight. So the Astros have only hit 6 of his last 40 pitches. That's a 150 batting average and a pretty decent sample size. So Jon Gray is 10,000 FanDuel salary, 700 less on DraftKings, averaging 31 fantasy points per game on the season. He has an ERA of 2.89, record is 6-3, pitching an average of 85 pitches per game. So I like Jon Gray here versus the Houston Astros. Okay, let's take a look at the catcher first base position. I'm just going to go ahead and pay up for this pick here. I like Paul Goldschmidt. He's got a 43% batting advantage over Luis Severino. Paul Goldschmidt batting 18% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .858 OPS versus righties. Luis Severino, he's giving up a .850 OPS versus righties, so there's no at-bats versus Severino yet. Paul Goldschmidt is 3,900 FanDuel salary, 1,800 more on DraftKings, averaging 12 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games, has a batting average of .285. So I like Paul Goldschmidt here versus Luis Severino. Now, if you're a little worried about Luis Severino, he is a pretty decent pitcher, although he doesn't pitch very good to righty batters. Take a look at Matt Olson. He's only $100 more than Paul Goldschmidt on FanDuel. And you could argue he has a better pitcher matchup here, low salary pitcher. And Matt Olson is batting 40% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .908 OPS versus righties. And Olson is 1 for 2 here versus Hoeing. So I like Matt Olson. He's 4,000 FanDuel salary, 2,400 more on DraftKings. He's averaging 14 fantasy points per game on the season. Scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games, and 3 of those were over 28 fantasy points. Has a batting average of .237. So I like Matt Olson here versus Brian Hoeing. So another play that I like, and then I'm going to move on here, but if you do want to save some salary at this pick, I also like Sean Murphy. He's got a 22% batting advantage over Brian Hoeing. So Sean Murphy is 3,400 FanDuel salary, 1,900 more on DraftKings, averaging 12 fantasy points per game on the season, scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games, and he has a batting average of .289. So if you do need to save some salary here, I like Sean Murphy here versus Brian Hoeing. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won. And then we'll send you $25 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Okay, let's take a look at the second base position. So here's a value play. I like Gleyber Torres. he has a 46% batting advantage over Matthew Liberator. Gleyber Torres batting a .682 OPS versus lefties. Matthew Liberator pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, 49% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .847 OPS versus righties. And I like this pick because Gleyber Torres, only 2,800 FanDuel salary. Now he is 2,200 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .248, and he did score fantasy points in all 5 of his last games. Vegas thinks there's going to be 9.5 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under. So I like Gleyber Torres here versus Matthew Liberator. Okay, let's take a look at the third base position. Another value play, I like J.D. Davis. He's got a 26% batting advantage over a low-salary pitcher, Carlos Carrasco. J.D. Davis, he's batting a .794 OPS versus righties. Carlos Carrasco, pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, giving up a .910 OPS versus righties. So J.D. Davis, he's only 2,900 FanDuel salary, 1,300 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .286, so I like J.D. Davis here versus Carlos Carrasco. Now let's take a look at the shortstop position. Been a big fan of this guy throughout the season. His salary is creeping up. He's been on fire. Take a look at Ezekiel Duran. He's batting against the low-salary pitcher, Ronel Blanco. Ezekiel Duran batting a .795 OPS versus righty pitchers. Ronel Blanco pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, giving up a .863 OPS versus righties. So there's no at-bats versus Blanco yet. Ezekiel Duran is 3,000 FanDuel salary, 600 more on DraftKings. So I like that price on both sites. Averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season. He's been on fire, scoring 25, 28, and 22 fantasy points in the last 3 games. He has a batting average of .326. So I like Ezekiel Duran here versus Ronel Blanco.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, moving on to the outfield position here, a home run hitter I like, Ronald Acuna Jr. He's got a 46% batting advantage over that low-salary pitcher, Brian Hoeing. So there's an opportunity here to stack some bats versus Brian Hoeing. But if you want to save some salary at this position, take a look at Harrison Bader. He's got a 107% batting advantage over that low-salary pitcher, Matthew Liberator. Harrison Bader batting 57% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a 1.332 OPS versus lefties. Matthew Liberator, he is giving up a .847 OPS versus righties. And Harrison Bader is 3,100 FanDuel salary, 500 more on DraftKings, averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season. Harrison Bader here, he's got a batting average of .268, scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games. 3 of those games, 12 to 25 fantasy points. Vegas thinks there's going to be 9.5 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under. So I like Harrison Bader here versus Matthew Liberator.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this MLB slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.